Hey, it is Coach Kinsey Shae here with Counselor Bobby Merwin, all talking about Gen X and from a woman perspective and a man perspective, and we're all Gen Xers, so yeah. So today, we just really wanted to talk about, are you winning your day? And we're going to kind of break it down. So, like, subscribe, do all that fun jazz, and stay to the end because, it's going to take some twists and turns because it's not going to be the traditional, task-oriented way a lot of people talk about winning your day. You have to have your checks and balances and whatever. We're talking about self-work here. And if you get a cringe or you want to click off, just notice that. Just notice.
Totally. Because we're going to push you a little bit, because some of the stuff that we're going to talk about is not just you wake up and you have it. You have to actually work towards it and cultivate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, and me included, winning my day, used to entail, I have my to-do list, I have my items that I have to get done today, and I get my top 3 done. You hear this all the time, write down your top 3. This is good advice, but this is not what we're talking about today.
It's good advice, but that's not the subject.
So, winning your day, first and foremost, it is celebrating your small wins. It's embracing that little micro move, that little baby step that quite often we don't give credit to. But as you act, you assess and you readjust, and that gives you momentum. And when we're in that journey, we're in this feeling of, I just want to be confident. I just want to, walk in the room and know that this is going to happen. But confidence, my friends, is a skill. It's not something that you naturally attain.
No, it is a skill. It's something that you cultivate, just like that seems to be the word of the day. But you cultivate that confidence. You and I were talking before we started this. And I was talking about the first time I ever did stand-up, and I was standing there, literally could not stop my right leg from shaking. And it was noticeable on stage, and I actually had to make fun of it. And I'm like, I'm so nervous. I've never done this before. And the high that I got from being, that nervous and being that excited was amazing. But what I'm trying to get to is, the 4th or 5th time, the 10th or 20th time I did it, it just got that much better. And I cultivated that confidence to be able to be on stage.
Yes. Confidence, your confidence doesn't mean you're not going to be nervous. That confidence does not mean that you're not going to mess up. This is the first thing when I learned how to speak. It is, if something happens or you say a word wrong or, something bizarre happens in the crowd, you bring it into your speech. Because it makes people at ease. It's a learning experience because people don't like to watch people that are all tightly wound and they are agenda driven. Just like you do, I really want to invite people, when you're in your life, really step away from the agenda driven mindset and embrace the craziness that happens, because you learn so much, because life happens when you make plans, right? So just embrace it. Sometimes you can have the most amazing I can't speak today. Renewing experience if you just embrace you, because you are your essence and you are beautiful, and in that state it doesn't need to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect. So with confidence, just know that it's a skill. I think that a hindrance to confidence is your self-esteem. Where is that at? This is like, taking stock again. We talk a lot about that because it's important. It's important.
And let's note that self-esteem and confidence are not the same thing. Because people do think they fall into the same, little slot, but they don't. They're two different things that work together.
Yes, because confidence is more like an outwardly external thing because it requires you to take action and learn and grow. Self-esteem is an inner game. It is really having a hard, fast truth bomb on yourself of what lies you've been told, what biases you have, what cultural biases you have, and what quite often they are not aligned with your values. Because everybody has their own journey and they're going to project their values. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that they're wrong, but they're lies to you. That's just not dismissing anybody else's values. It's just not in alignment. We're all in our own journey, my friends. So what's your take on that? I've done so many challenges on self-esteem. And it's a passion project for me. I think quite a lot of people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, part of the problem is comparing yourself to the Joneses.
Yeah.
We don't want to compare ourselves next to each other. Your confidence is going to be your confidence. And your self-esteem is going to be that, and it's going to be determined on how much you actually want to work on it, what you want to read, who you want to talk to, what you want to experiment with.
Yeah.
Case in point, I'm working on a motorcycle right now in my garage.
Yep.
I am not a mechanic. Not. If I've got any of my friends that are watching this right now, they're going like, yep, you are not a mechanic, Bobby. But I'm experimenting with it, and what I'm doing, I'm gaining confidence as I go. I've got a couple of videos on YouTube University that I watch.
YouTube.
I got this guy called the Bearded Mechanic, who I love.
Yeah.
And Brickhouse Builds, and they teach me stuff, and I get more confident as I'm going. So what am I doing? I'm working on my confidence, just like you were saying 5 minutes ago. It's not something that you wake up and go, oh, I have tons of confidence today. Look at me.
I'm magical.
Oh, look, my confidence is at 78% today. What an awesome day it's going to be. No, that's not how it works. I would like that sometimes, let me tell you.
So, to me, winning your day is really being curious. Just being in the sky and observing, like, what are you saying to yourself? Because quite often we try something new and then our subconscious record player of toxic thoughts is like, it's never going to work. You always suck at doing whatever. Our inner voice is really cruel. Like when I started journaling out the shit that I'm going to say shit because it was shit that I would tell myself, it was appalling. I would never even say it to my worst enemy, the stuff I was saying to myself. So take a moment and think about the crap that you're saying in your head. And write that down and really embrace, and really reframe it into a new mantra. Like, for examples, like, I always fail. You're using absolute language where there's no way to going out. So you
never
can say,
use absolute.
Yes, I hate absolute. But you can switch it to historically my trend has been, but going forward my intention is, and you write out whatever your intention is. Oh, I got a little hoarse. I got all excited. And I know.
Totally.
But to recap, just write down the negative thought, the toxic thought that you're thinking about yourself, and then say historically, because you're accepting and acknowledging what your past has been, and that's important. And then flip it into a mantra. And a commitment. My intention is I commit to whatever verbiage really jumps to your heartstrings to get you in momentum, use that verbiage, not always or, all of the, not absolute language. But really use that language to propel you forward, because then you can act, you can assess, you can adjust, and so you build your confidence. So it's a full circle, my friends. So this is how you win your day, is celebrating your little micro wins and taking stock of what is in your nugget. Because sometimes it's not
so dead on with that, because it's little wins that make the difference, and that's how to celebrate the day. I had to write this down because you said it, and I subjective record player of toxic thoughts. I'm like, what a Kinseyism that perfect. Yes, I love it. But no, it's that when you said that, I'm like, wow, that's perfect. That really, really is, because we have that record player that spins in our head that says something. The other day, I was doing stuff around the house, and for whatever reason, I found myself just getting emotional for no reason. But it wasn't no reason. I had to say to myself, what is around me that's helping me, that's like contributing to this? And then I realized, there was some things going on outside, and it reminded me of things carried forward. So I changed my perspective. I changed where I was and what I was doing, and I made myself better rather than swimming in that.
Right. I mean,
you also go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to dovetail on that. When you are in the essence of you get emotional, it's just a pause moment. You don't need to really know why. It just is an invitation to ground down, because your intuitive self is trying to tell you something, or your nervous system is trying to release something. So the more you fight it, the more issues you will have. If you just ground down and let it release, and it might not even be something, and this might be woo-woo for some people, but it might not even be your trauma or your issue. It might be generational, because we carry this forward in our in our DNA, So really, we're in this, I have to know what's going on. I have to know. No, we don't. Just release it. Release it.
I wish I could get more. Most of my practice is with men.
Yeah.
And I wish I could just get more men to, do that. I do have some, and I let them know after they've had, some release. I let them know that, that's good that you did that. That's okay. That's welcomed in here. I am not judging you. I think that that's very healthy to do that. So they're always like, they'll start crying, and they're like, oh God, I'm crying. I can't do that. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some really, military men that I have coached, and, they release, and they're like, oh my God, I'm crying. And I go, it's okay. Your little boy self needs to cry. It's okay.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because I'd always tell my guy clients that we'd get to some point, and I'd say, we're just grown-up boys.
Yep.
That's what we are.
Yeah.
And if you get more of us in the room, we become more childish.
Yes.
So
that is true. I grew up with 3 brothers. Very true.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. When we're all together, we are like children. Except for my oldest, so, rest in peace. But when the other 2, we get together. But I mean, growing your confidence is an inner game. It's external activities, but it's also really looking at your inner self, because you have to seed what you want to grow. Plain and simple.
Very rudimentary and very perfect, because you have to seed what you need to grow. I keep echoing in my own ears.
Oh, really?
You have speakers, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, they're reverbing into the...
Oh, microphone. Lord. Here. How about now?
Turn me down.
How about now?
There you go.
So if the audio is bad, I'm learning on this all stuff. I apologize. I'm owning my
truth. Get some of these.
I know.
Yeah.
I could put my thingy on. I need to just start wearing these.
What are these? Your cans?
My little, why are these not?
If you're just joining us, we're learning how to do audio here on GenX.
Well, it's never been an issue. It's never been an issue.
You look so professional now. Check you out.
I know. All right. See, we're all learning.
We're all learning. Look at this. This is what this is about. You got to celebrate the small wins. I just got a small win. She put those on. There you go. I wasn't trying to make that happen. I just kept hearing myself, and I'm like, and the funny thing is that I believe that you must have turned it up in the last couple of minutes.
I did.
Was fine. Okay, and then all of a sudden I was hearing myself. I'm like, nah, that's not good. Anyway, celebrate the small wins. That's what that is. And I wrote down something else that was said, which was confidence does not mean you will not be nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Nervous and confidence are in the same bubble. But, you know, if you're nervous, it doesn't mean you're not confident. And if you're confident, it doesn't mean you're not nervous.
Right.
Again, case in point, with the first time I did stand-up, I literally was shaking. Shaking! That's how nervous I was. I'd never been that nervous in my life.
Right.
It was amazing to be that nervous. But that's okay. I fought through it and got better.
Right. Just like, you know, we do Gen-X-PLORATION because it really is in our value system. It's a way for us to serve. It fills our cup. And yes, it's not perfect, but we still show up and do it. You know, we had things that happened, you know, where we couldn't get it out on Thursday, but we're posting it today and made an effort. It doesn't have to be perfect, my friends. And just own your truth and be you. I mean, like, just really be it, seek it, and believe it. I say that all the time because you have to have it in your mind's eye. You have mirror neurons in your system that doesn't know if it's physically happen or if it's an imaginary thing. So be it in your head, seek it, meaning you build your confidence in it, working through your self-esteem, and believe it. Like, you have to believe it with all of your five senses. All of your five senses. Believe it. That's part of being it. Right? If you walk into something and you're like, I don't think it's going to work, you might as well not do it, because you're sending that message to the universe that it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. And that might be woo-woo to you. That's okay. That's okay. But in my journey, this has worked. You know, like, I had no business believing that I could walk or do anything after my car accident. And now I'm going to the gym and lifting weights and doing all, I mean, yes, it's modified, but I believed it, you know, and I seeked it. Mm-hmm. And I be it.
Did you just say I seeked it? Oh my God, I love it. That's so good. Oh, that's good. Why can't I change this? I wrote you a note and then it won't let me get rid of it. There we go. I wrote you something in our chat that we have. I'm experimenting with that, so. I
know. I mean, yay technology. I mean, we're all learning. And when we can really embrace the fact that we don't know everything, we don't. And that's okay. That's okay.
Well, let me give you an example of that, please. So I've been an LPC for over 10 years. And I've been practicing as a counselor for about 15. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until about probably 6 years into being an LPC, I finally amalgamated things down to where I thought my core values were. And when I say values, I mean things that I'm trying to give to clients so that they can be able to function.
Right.
And I said, if you can live in the world of acceptance and forgiveness, you're going to go a long way. And I can show you any case, any question that you have where I can put acceptance and forgiveness into it, and it will change it and make it better. So they would test me and say, well, this about my boss and that, and then there's that money. So I'd say, well, you need to accept this and you need to forgive that. And they're like, and it was so simple, but they didn't know. They didn't know to do it.
Right.
You and I have talked about some books that we've looked at and read. I should say read. And one of them that I tell people to read all the time is the book Happier by Dr. Tal Ben-Sahar. I learned about it when I was in my master's program, and the perspective that that person has to be able to accept and forgive things. And that's part of where it came through for me. Is I started with that acceptance and forgiveness thing. Then I read this, and he was on that exact train. And I'm like, oh, I must be doing something right because this guy's brilliant. So just be able to accept the fact that you're not going to have the confidence in some things, but you can cultivate it. You were the one that can push it forward.
Right. So. Because quite often the biggest hurdle in our self-growing is giving ourselves permission.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once you do give yourself permission to do things, learn things, experiment with things, it changes how you view your world. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. I've taken on different travels, different foods, different attitudes, and it's been wonderful.
Right. I mean, a lot of times we paint ourselves in a box and we look at our circumstances as the only way to be. And when we turn that around and look at the possibilities and allow ourselves to play in our own playground of life, we can embrace so many new things. So we're just inviting you to win your day, to play in your playground and see the possibilities inside you and beyond.
Yep. Wow. That was like the summation of all summations, right? We had a thesis statement and we summated. That was really good. I don't know how to go on from there.
I know. I think that's
Hey, congratulations to you. Thank you for sharing 50 shows with me. This is our 50th.
I know.
50th. I can't believe that. Every time I think about it, I'm like, we've done this 50 times now?
I know. Good. Yeah, and we're building confidence, and it's not perfect, but we keep going.
Oh, go see the first show if you want to see somebody stumbling through. Hi, I'm Bill, and I'm Ted. What's going on, eh? You know? I mean, it was it was that much. Bob and Doug McKenzie, that's what I was trying to say. Remember them?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, we live by what we teach and what we, advise people with. And yes, we're not perfect in our own life with a lot of things. And that's being human. When you look at somebody, they're a guru, they're whatever, and I'm not putting myself in that category. They all have the same human conditions, the same pitfalls as you. Just look at their actions and what they're doing, and just understand that, I like to say, like, when people are doing self-development, they get frustrated. I know I did. When the more you grow, the more you raise into that staircase of life, you keep touching base on, like daddy issues, mommy issues, or some kind of trauma. Every time you get to that back of that staircase, you touch upon it and you're like, I should be over this. No, every time you grow, you have to heal it further. So it doesn't mean you're backsliding. It just means that you're stepping up on that staircase to go higher, to your higher self.
That's correct. You are not determining when the scab falls off.
Yeah.
The scab falls off when it falls off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to still have feelings about maybe like a loss a loss of a significant other, a death or something like that. I once had a friend of mine say to me, like a year or so after my mom passed away, and he said, "You should be over this by now." And I knew when he said it, it was completely wrong.
Right.
But I didn't really know what to say back.
Right.
And then he lived a little bit longer. He got to experience some life, and then he got to lose his mother. Yeah. And then he was able to say something to me about what he said. Because I think after he said it, it probably went tink in his mind and went, "Oh, shit. I shouldn't have said that."
Yeah.
But he did, and he fessed up to it later, and we're still the best of friends today. You don't let, one sentence ruin something between the two of you. But, yeah, everybody makes mistakes. So.
Yep. So everybody, embrace your day and win your day. And
your day.
Yeah. And Gen Xers, just be like when you're a kiddo. Like, you won your day. Like, you knew when the lights turned off, you could jet out of the house when your chores were done, and you knew when you needed to come back when those lights turned on. Your butt better be in the dinner chair ready to eat. In those bumper rails, in those boundaries, you were curious. You played. You didn't know where your food was going to come. You didn't know what hose you were going to drink out of. You just played.
You didn't know what back of a truck you were going to be riding in that day.
Yeah.
You just went with it.
Yeah.
So win your day is what we're saying.
Win your Gen X little self way.
Right.
So.
Well, happy 50th.
Happy 50th. Woo-hoo!
That was a few years ago. Yeah.
I haven't quite reached it. I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Yeah, you're 30 something. You're fine. Just don't worry.
Oh, stop it. No, I'm in my later 40s.
Oh, that's right. Your Gen X can't lie too much, can we?
Yeah. No. So subscribe, do all that fun jazz, and it really supports our channel and get our content out. If you have value with this, please comment, do all that fun jazz.
Yeah, comment and ship this along to somebody. If you think somebody can hear this, value from the things that we're saying, we do this because we're giving back. We do this because this is something important to us to do. This isn't monetary. We're not making money off this. No. We're just doing it because we want to do the right thing, because I know that it might have been a counselor that saved my life at one time.
Me too.
That's why I do what I'm doing. So
yes. Woohoo!
Okay.
All right.
So punch it on to somebody.
We will see you next week.
Sounds great.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.